If you've ever tried reading a Xianxia web novel, you've probably felt this way about it at some point. Everyone keeps talking about realms, cause, foundations, tribulations, and somehow characters can go from being weak existences to individuals suddenly being able to rival the heavens itself. So, how does cultivation actually progress in Xianxia web novels? Today, I want to break it down to you step by step, not using one specific novel, but a shared logic common to Xianxia web novels. Now, at its core, cultivation is about refining oneself to defy natural limits. Cultivators absorb spiritual energy, often called ki, think of it like magic, from the world and refine it within themselves inside their bodies. But cultivation isn't just about getting stronger, it's about extending lifespan, resisting decay, and slowly stepping away from mortality. In other words, it's a process of transformation, not just power scaling. The first step is the mortal stage, which most stories begin at. This usually involves tempering the body, opening meridians, which are pathways which ki flows within the body. Think the eight hidden gates in Naruto, and learning to sense ki. At this stage, cultivators are still very much human. They get tired, they bleed, and they die easily. Progress here is slow and painful, which is why talent, resources, and sect backing matter so much early on. This is also where most people fail. Now, it's for this reason that makes sect influence, clan influence, a lot of this group influence matter so much in Xianxia type novels. Now, once a cultivator can reliably absorb ki, they move into what many novels call the foundation stage. This is where things start to get serious. The cultivator at this stage stabilizes their cultivation path, chooses their foundational techniques, and builds the base for everything that comes later. A weak foundation means faster progress now, but guaranteed failure later because of loss of potential. After this comes the core stage, where spiritual energy or ki is condensed into something permanent, which might be a core, a sea, or a Dantian transformation. This is the point where cultivators stop feeling mortal. Now, one of the most misunderstood things about Shanshan web novels is that realms are just power levels. They are not. Each realm represents a qualitative leap. For example, a core stage cultivator doesn't just hit harder, they perceive the world differently. Their lifespan increases. Their attacks interact with laws, not just matter. This is why cross-run fights are rare and very dangerous within these novels. It's not about numbers, it's about quality and about existence. Now, eventually, every cultivator hits a wall. This is where tribulations come in. Tribulations are often either lightning, heavenly pressure, or mental illusions. They exist for one reason and one reason only, which is to test whether the cultivator is stable enough to advance into the next realm. And many cultivators often fail at this point, which means death usually. Not because they lack power, but because their foundation is weak or their will is too weak to support the next realm they're about to go into, or their Dao isn't complete. This is where Xianxia stories separate the wheat from the chaff, basically, and where everyone at this stage becomes the cream of the crop. Now, at higher stages past the tribulation, cultivation stops being about key accumulation entirely, and it starts to become about understanding the Tao. Now, you may have seen this word or heard it or read about it. The Tao simply means the fundamental laws of reality. Cultivators no longer just refine energy, they refine concepts like space, time, death, and karma. And at this point, advancement depends more on insight than effort. There are rarely cases of happening on stones that contain a large amount of energy that can be absorbed to increase your power level. It doesn't work like that at this stage anymore. So cultivation in Shansha is both a ladder in terms of progression as well as a transformation. It is more importantly a transformation from body to energy to existence itself. Once you understand that, the Shansha novels stop feeling confusing and start feeling intentionally because they basically all revolve around this power systems. There may be slight difference in the number of tiers, but they all basically carry the same format. So if you enjoy breaking down things like this, if you enjoy talking about web novels, give me a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.